Harvey Weinstein has officially been sentenced to 23 years in prison in his New York trial following decades of sexually assaulting and raping women. Now, Weinstein was sentenced to 20 years in prison for the attack on Miriam Haley and another 3 years to be served consecutively for the rape of Jessica Mann. So there were two women who came forward, prosecutors took Harvey Weinstein to trial over what these women went through. He was, of course, convicted and luckily sentenced to a lengthy period of time. Now, the sentence in Manhattan State Court was less than the maximum 29 years requested by prosecutors, but could amount to an effective life sentence for the 67-year-old Weinstein, who has been in apparently frail health. Now, just to give you a sense of how ridiculous the defense lawyers were in this case, they had asked for 5 years following his conviction. Luckily, the judge didn't go along with that. Judge James Burke is the presiding judge who sentenced Weinstein in this case.
Okay, so first of all, a small note, it's funny how frail people's health gets when they're going to court. Like with everything Harvey Weinstein says, I don't believe him at all. So I don't know if that's controversial, but I don't care. So the mobsters do the same thing. When they're pushing people around and attacking people, they seem to be in perfectly good health. And when Harvey Weinstein was in Hollywood, he was the biggest bully in America, right? The minute he gets arrested, oh, I need a walker, oh, poor little me. And nonsense excuse after excuse. His lawyers said that the Donna Rotuno called the sentence obscene, obnoxious, and cowardly.
Please.
How is a rape sentence cowardly? That doesn't even make any sense.
She's ridiculous, and we did a story about her. She had an interview with the New York Times, their podcast, The Daily, and she is quite a character. But the story isn't about her, it's about justice. And keep in mind that Weinstein is likely to be extradited to California, where he also faces criminal charges. So that 23-year sentence is for this particular case, but he could be serving even more time in prison. Now, he's older, and let's keep it real, he's likely to serve the rest of his life in prison.
That would be fantastic. So here's two good parts of this that I enjoyed. One, they took him into custody immediately upon his conviction. Look, with wealthy folks, you get the sense they never actually go to jail.
Right.
So I don't know if he was surprised by it or if his lawyers had already told him, but I like the idea that, yeah, no, you're under arrest, brother. It isn't just for poor people anymore. And you know where he's going? Rikers.
Yeah. So as soon as he was taken into custody, though, he immediately needed medical attention. So they actually took him to a hospital, and then immediately after, he.
I don't believe him. You can call it controversial if you like. He's one of the biggest liars in America. I don't believe a word he says.
So I want to make sure everyone is fully aware of what he was convicted of, because these are serious charges. Or convictions, I should say. Weinstein was convicted at trial of rape and committing a criminal sexual act. Jurors found him guilty of committing a first-degree criminal sexual act by forcibly performing oral sex on production assistant Mimi Haley in 2006. By the way, there were some charges that he was found not guilty of. He was found not guilty of the most serious charge, which was 2 counts of predatory sexual assault, for which he could have been sentenced to life in prison. He also was acquitted of first-degree rape. And it's one of the things that I thought was good to see was just the women who have been victimized by him for decades finally seeing some justice, right? Because think about what Harvey Weinstein would do to intimidate them. He would hire Oppo researchers to follow them around and then threaten them with all sorts of nonsense, like, oh, if you tell anyone, I'm gonna come out with this and that. I'm gonna destroy your career. Think about the power he did, yeah, the power he had over these women. And there was one short video that I want to show you guys, because the victims who testified against him, the women who got justice here, were applauded as they were walking out of court following the sentencing. Let's take a quick look at that. So there they are, walking out. You can hear people applauding, some of the reporters asking them questions. But it feels good to know that there is a day of justice for not just the women who were part of this particular trial, but all the women who came forward, all the women who didn't feel comfortable coming forward, who thought that there wouldn't ever be a day of justice. They finally got that day.
All right, the one part of this trial that I loved was the judge did allow other women who were assaulted by Harvey Weinstein to testify. A lot of times in our legal system, they don't allow that. They say, okay, we're trying you for this crime, not for those other crimes. I actually think that's very wrong. And the reason is, and yes, there is a law that says you can show a pattern. And I think judges too often do not allow that pattern. But in this case, the judge did allow the pattern and allowed many actresses, including one from The Sopranos, who testified that he burst into her apartment and raped her 26 years ago. And he allowed 5 of those women to testify. So the jury got a full sense of what Harvey Weinstein's pattern of sexual assault throughout his whole life was. So that's a great decision. I applaud that. And if you're wondering if all of this wasn't overwhelming enough already, if you need any more reasons to despise Harvey Weinstein, he told the judge, well, look, I think men are confused about these issues. No one's confused about bursting into someone's apartment, attacking them and raping them. No one has ever been confused about that, let alone all the other things that you did. And when asked about these 2 particular women he got convicted of assaulting, he said, I had wonderful times with these people.
He's disgusting, just a disgusting human being.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.